Have Brisbane house prices grown too much? We're going to be breaking down the Brisbane property market, and are we one of those unaffordable cities here in Australia, and should you look to put your dough elsewhere? I run a Brisbane buyers agency. My wife and I have roughly $3.5 million of property here in the Brisbane market. So of course, what I say today, you may need to take with a grain of salt. But let's break down some of the data, what CoreLogic is saying, what some market economists and commentators are saying around Brisbane's property market and how it compares to the other major capital cities. Before we dive into today's video, if you head over to purposeproperty.com.au, you can book in a free strategy session with myself where we'll sit down, have a chat about your situation, talk about your long and short-term goals and how we can help you secure a property here in Southeast Queensland in the next 6 months. So head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in that free session. So let's unpack Brisbane property prices. You can see here that Brisbane house prices have soared 62% since the pandemic. But honestly, most of Australia has had a massive run in terms of property prices because of all of the money printing going on, all the demand coming from overseas and interstate into Brisbane, for example. So it's not unsurprising that we've had such strong growth over the last few years. Brisbane was one of the nation's fastest growing housing markets last year, with the value soaring 13.1% in 2023, according to CoreLogic. And this graph here shows the home value index for dwellings as at the 31st of December 2023, so only a few months ago. You can see Perth was the real winner. Everyone was talking about Perth as the hot area in 2023, but Brisbane really not far behind at 13.1%. Sydney really outperformed expectations with significant growth at 11% last year. Melbourne was underwhelming. Adelaide had some lower growth, and Hobart underperformed, as well as Darwin and Canberra. So the combined growth across the capital cities was 9.3%. The combined growth across the regionals was 4.4% in 2023, with a national average of 8%. So if you've got a $500,000 house, you made 40 grand in equity last year on average across the major capital cities. Or if you've got $1 million home, that's $80,000 of value created through market growth in just 1 year. And that's the power of leverage. If you're able to buy a house for $1 million, put 100 grand down and you got an 80 grand equity uplift, that 100 grand is almost doubling. That's a 2x cash on cash return. And that's the power of property investing. If you can get some compound growth year on year and manufacture value and not have to put a lot of your money down to do that, that's where you can create massive gains in a short period of time. PropTrack's Dwelling Values Index also recorded strong growth for Brisbane, with values rising 10.5% in 2023. So that's again just comparing the data between CoreLogic and PropTrack, which are slightly different data houses. So in this case, it said Perth was outperforming in a more significant manner, and Adelaide was actually higher than CoreLogic's data. So essentially, to recap 2023, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth all performed very strongly. And the national average in terms of growth was between that 5 to 8%. So are Brisbane property prices too high now that it's been a front runner for growth the last few years? Or is Brisbane still primed for property growth over the next 3, 5, and 10 years? Since the pandemic began in March 2020, Brisbane dwelling values have risen an extraordinary 50% according to CoreLogic. You can see here Brisbane's up 50%, Adelaide's up 52% at its peak, Perth at 47%, Hobart 28%, Darwin 23%, Canberra 30%, Sydney 25%, and Melbourne 11%. Now, I know everyone's sick of talking about the pandemic and property price growth, but what it shows is you need to take action. The government's not going to look after you. You can only take action with the resources, skills, time, job, money, and effort that you have in your control. Now, the markets are going to keep moving. I think of future generations, and people are going to struggle to break into the property market. It's going to be generational wealth that will continue to buy and build out their asset base. So if you don't want to get left behind, I think you need to start looking at how you can use your income and your savings to leverage yourself, get into the property market, and build your asset base. Now, property is not for everybody. Some people are going to want to get into crypto or shares or run their own business. But if you look at the fundamentals for growth here in Australia across our major capital cities and even some of our major regional towns, we do have an undersupply of property and an overwhelming demand for these assets. So given the undersupply and the overwhelming demand, my belief is that Australian property prices will continue to grow over the long term with an expected average of around that 5 to 9% depending on the area. Now this graph on screen is quite interesting. It shows Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane dwelling values from PropTrack since the COVID pandemic. And you can see here based on an index, so it's trying to compare Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne as apples for apples in terms of growth. Brisbane's largely outperformed growth of Sydney and Melbourne. But what you're missing here is if you had Perth and Adelaide, I think you would see that they have performed very similar to Brisbane on an indexed basis. So some of the key factors driving Brisbane's outperformance compared to Sydney and Melbourne are the city's stronger population growth and Brisbane's relative affordability. These are absolutely massive factors. Population growth is always going to drive demand. It's a demand driver. And affordability is again another demand driver. Now, the reason our buyer's agency here at Purpose Property only focuses on established suburbs is because it limits the supply. There's only a certain number of houses you can fit in a suburb. Of course, with townhouses and units, you can create more density. But as far as houses go, you've only got a limited amount of land in a certain suburb. Say 5 kilometres south of the CBD, where our offices are in Greenslopes here in Brisbane. In the suburb of Greenslopes, there's only going to be a certain number of houses, and therefore there's that limited land supply. When you add on top the strong population growth of high-income earners, skilled workers moving interstate and from overseas into Brisbane, and then you take into account that Brisbane's far more affordable compared to Sydney and Melbourne, that's why Brisbane looks like a great market for this next cycle of long-term growth. So my opinion is over the next 3, 5, and 10 years, Brisbane is primed for significant growth. Whether that seems to be the case over the next 30 years, Sydney and Melbourne might be the markets over a next 20, 30-year period. But at this point in time, when you look at the supply and you look at the demand and you look at the data, it looks like everything's pointing towards Brisbane continuing to grow. So this graph on screen shows the population growth since the start of the pandemic. And this is from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, so the main data house here in Australia. So you can see here across Australia, population growth since the start of the pandemic was close to 1 million people. So over a 2.5 year period. Of those million people, 305,000 moved into Queensland. Now, Brisbane as a capital city or a greater Brisbane area has roughly around 2.5 million people. Whereas Melbourne, off the top of my head, are getting 4, 5, I'm sure they're getting up towards 5, 6 million across the greater area. So Brisbane getting the lion's share of people migrating to Queensland, and that most of those people are going to go into southeast Queensland, even though they might go into some more regional areas as well. That means that we're getting a greater percentage of people moving interstate and overseas into that Brisbane area. You can also see here Brisbane house prices versus Sydney prices. So it maps it across a timeline and compares Brisbane to Sydney, so on a percentage basis. You can see here in 2009, Sydney hadn't had a lot of growth, so Brisbane prices were very comparable to Sydney. But since about 2014, 2015, Brisbane prices have sat around 50 to 60% of Sydney prices. Now, Melbourne's got a little bit less disparity at only 82% difference between Melbourne and Brisbane. So that gap is currently closing. You can see here that it's increased since around 2017, where it was at 65% and jumping up towards that 80 to 85% mark at this point in time. So what does that data mean when you're comparing Brisbane and Sydney and Brisbane and Melbourne? Essentially, on a percentage basis, Brisbane is far more affordable than Sydney, sitting around that 55, 65% mark in terms of house prices. So for $1 million home in Sydney, you'll be able to buy a home in Brisbane around that $650,000 price point. But in reality, the average home in Sydney is probably $2 million, and you can buy homes in Brisbane between, say, $800,000 to $1.2 million. And similar to Melbourne, sitting around the 80% mark, so an $800,000 house in Brisbane, a comparable property in Melbourne's about $1 million. So Brisbane definitely has the affordability factor compared to our other major capital cities. And so Brisbane definitely has that affordability factor compared to Sydney and Melbourne. Now, what we're seeing on the ground is demand for Brisbane property. The start of 2024 has continued this trend of significant price growth. The reality of our buyers agency with myself and the 5 staff members on the ground, what we're seeing day to day when we're calling agents, going to auctions, offering on private treaty deals is significant demand from overseas investors interstate investors and homeowners looking to move into Southeast Queensland, and locals trying to jump into the market. Now, the other major thing we haven't even touched on is the Olympic Games. That is the icing or the cherry on the cake, as it were, when it comes to Brisbane's growth over the next 5 to 10 years. We're in 2024, so we're only 8 years away. Time is ticking for the Olympic Games in 2032. Now, what's happening with the Olympic Games is that is the icing on the cake, but all the infrastructure is being progressed because of the Olympic Games. Stadium upgrades, transport, including rail and bus networks, motorway upgrades, inner city areas are being developed and gentrified, new stadiums are going in. So there's a lot happening on the ground in terms of Brisbane's development as a city. Even our most major project, which is our Queen's Wharf project, is looking to be completed in the next few years. And they're also doing a number of bridges, a number of footbridges to interconnect the inner CBD of Brisbane. So take a look at the data for yourself. Yes, Brisbane has had some significant growth over the last few years, but most of Australia's major capital cities and a lot of the major regional towns have had strong growth too. So what you need to do is make an educated and an informed decision. And that's why you need to look at the data both on a quantitative and a qualitative basis. That's exactly what we do with clients. If you sign up with our buyers agency services, we sit down and do a buying brief session where we look at your price, we look at your strategy, and we look at the suburbs, property specifics, and red flags. Within that, we unpack the quantitative data. We look at this macro data at a Brisbane level, but then more importantly, we look at the suburb and property specific data. On a quantitative data basis, you want to look at the median price point trends, the cash flow, the rent, the growth potential, the development potential, the value add potential. And then it's also important to look at the qualitative factors. What are these future infrastructure projects? What are the school zones people want to be in? What are the lifestyle factors that are driving owner-occupier demand if you're looking at a standard residential property? So there's lots to unpack, but in my opinion, Brisbane is still primed for growth in 2024 and beyond. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Obviously, I am a Brisbane buyer's agent. I run Purpose Property. I have 3.5 mil of property here in Brisbane. So you do need to take what I say with a grain of salt, but leave your thoughts down below and let me know what you think about Brisbane over the next 5 to 10 years. If you're interested on seeing some recent client purchases here in the Brisbane market, then make sure you click this playlist over here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.